They say Better Auth is the new CN of authentication. They are an open source project and I must say I'm really impressed. In this video I'm going to walk you through how to implement Better Auth inside of your Next.js 15 application with Drizzle. We are going to implement sign in, sign up and sign out functionalities. As always, you have this code available in the public GitHub repository. It is in the description below. And now let's start. We have here a fresh copy of Next.js version 15.2.1, and first thing we are going to do is to go to the Better Auth documentation. And from here we are going to get started and then installation. So first thing we need to do is to add our Better Auth dependency. So that is the first thing. I'm going to my terminal and inside of my project I'm pasting the pnpm add Better Auth. Now this one is going to be installed quickly, and next thing that we need is our environment variable. So we need our Better Auth secret and we can generate it here right in their documentation. So I'm clicking generate secret and I got my env key. So I'm going to the code and I'm going to create a new file called .env, and right there I'm going to paste in my Better Auth secret. And next thing that we need is the base URL, so I'm going to copy paste that one also inside the env file. So here it's localhost 3000, of course on production that would be the name of your domain. And now when we have our environments set up, we can go to the next thing, and that's creating a Better Auth instance. So we can create it wherever we like. It can be in root directory, it can be in lib folder, utils folder. I like to put it in the lib folder. So I'm going to create here a new directory called lib, and inside I'm going to create auth.ts. And inside of that file we need to import Better Auth from our new dependency that we just installed, the Better Auth, and it needs to look something like this. But I'm going to use Drizzle in this example. So we are going to the Drizzle adapter. Here it is. So here is the Drizzle. I'm going to copy and paste this entire auth file right here inside of our auth.ts file. So now what we need to do is to quickly install Drizzle on our application. So here quickly I'm going to the Drizzle Next.js, and we are going to this to-do app with Neon Postgres. So I'm using Neon for this one. We need to install these dependencies, Drizzle ORM and the Drizzle kit. So we are going to add those to our application. These are installed. So now we can add the next dependency. That one is the Neon database serverless. So I'm adding that one also. I forgot to use pnpm, but it doesn't matter. We can just use this one and fix everything later. So I added also the .env, and that one should be it. So now we need our connection string from our Neon. So I already created that one. If you didn't use Neon, it's really cool. There you can store all your databases. It's really nice. So here I have my overview and I can connect my database from my Neon. So I'm copying that one, and we can see here what we need to do next on our Drizzle. So we just need to add our database URL with that connection string. So we are opening again the env file, and here database URL like this, and I'm just adding the string that I took from my Neon console. And now we just need to create our drizzle.ts file. So I'm going to create that one. We are creating a new db directory, and inside the drizzle.ts like this, copy pasting everything. That one is done, and now we need our schema. So we are going to get our schema from Better Auth. I'm not going to touch this part, and we need now our config file. So I'm creating in our root directory drizzle.config.ts, and I'm pasting in everything from Drizzle documentation from here. So now we can get back to our Better Auth documentation. So now when we have our Drizzle installed, we can get back to our auth file, and here we just need to add Drizzle like this. So we are getting our database from Drizzle, and Drizzle is getting it from Neon. So now here we actually have our database connected. So that's good. We can continue there on the creating our database tables. So here we have the npx betterauth generate command, which is going to generate all the tables necessary for us. And everything is working now together with our adapter. So it's going to create Drizzle migrations. And we are opening our terminal again. So here I'm pasting in the npx command, and we're going to see if that one is going to work. Yes, we're going to install the Better Auth package CLI, and now we should get our migrations. And it's now asking us to generate the schema, auth schema in our root directory. We are going to press yes, and there it is. So now we can see it. It is right here, auth schema, and we can see that this one created for us the user table, then we have session, account, and also verification. So that is really awesome. We have our entire infrastructure for our authentication, and only thing left is if we go back to our Drizzle here, we can see that our schema needs to be inside of our db schema file. So we are just going to copy paste this part, and we are going to create a new schema.ts and just paste it in there so we can use it from there. And I'm going to remove the auth schema. Of course, we could do that inside of our config manually, but it's better for schema file to be inside the db directory. And now inside of our terminal, we can just run npx drizzle kit push. And it is saying here no schema files found for sources db schema.ts. So we need to change our Drizzle config file. Here it shouldn't be with the sources, it's only db schema, and now we can run the same command again. So we are doing npx drizzle kit push, and we see that we are using Neon database serverless, and changes applied. Nice, let's see. So here inside of our Neon, we can go to the tables, and here I hope, yes. So here we have account, session, user, and verification table. So everything is migrated successfully, and we can continue now with the installation process for Better Auth. Here we can see the migrate command, but that one is used only with the built-in Kaiseli adapter. So we're going to skip that part. And now we have our authentication methods. So I'm not going to use social providers in this video. I'm just going to put in the email and password because that's always the most problematic part for authentication. So we are going to put that one in our auth file. Here I'm putting in the email and password enabled. So that's what we are going to do. And now we have here the mount handler. So we need to create our route in order for this one to work. So I'm copying this one, and we need API auth, then here all, and then route.ts. So here I'm creating a new folder. So we need API auth, then like this, all, and inside route.ts. And I'm pasting everything from here. So this is our auth file, everything is fine, we are shooting the right file. And now here we need our client instance. And this one is for our client side, so to create the authentication client, and that one is also in the lib directory. So we are going to the lib, and that one is called auth client, so like this. .ts, and we are also copy pasting. This one is the base URL. This is probably the best to create it inside the environment file. And now we are basically ready to use our authentication client. So what are we going to do now? I'm going to create a server action for signing in and for sign up. So here I'm going to create a new directory. I'm going to call it server, and inside I can just call it users.ts like this, and that one is going to be server action like this. Here we need to import not our auth client, but our auth from the lib/auth, this one. And now we are going to create, just like this, a sign in function. So here we are going to await for our auth.api sign in email. And inside of our body, we are going to put in the email and password. We are just hard coding it. We would here probably send parameters if we were not hard coding it. Here we are missing one slash. And now we can also create a sign up. So everything the same, except here we need our name. And now we have everything. We just need to close the function. So now we have functions needed that we can put inside of our server component and use it in order to sign up and to sign in. So here everything is hard coded, and we can just use this one and call it from our main page. So here I'm deleting all the default stuff from Next.js, and we are going to create one main like this element, and we are going to call sign in and sign up inside of our buttons. Let's just put in some flex column like this to make it look nice. Now we can actually go to our page. I'm not sure if this is the first time. Here it is. So we have our sign in and sign up buttons. And if we click, let's just open first the network tab so we can see if something is actually happening. So I'm clicking sign up, and here we can see that we have some issues. So let's see what's the problem. The model user was not found in the schema object. Please pass the schema directly to the adapter options. I had this problem before, and what is basically happening is that our Better Auth doesn't know what kind of schema are we using. So here it's already telling us the solution. So we need to insert our schema inside of our database. It shouldn't be here, it should actually be here. And from our schema, there is a better solution. We can just export our schema like this, and here we can just import it from our DB schema. And now we can try again. So here I'm refreshing the screen, I'm clearing the network tab and clicking sign up again. And let's see the post. There it is, 200. Awesome. We can now go to our Neon console, and here in our users table, here we should get, yeah, there it is. Name OrcDev, email orcdev@test.com, and email verified false. Okay, these are some different things we need to do, and image and bunch of stuff. So we are getting everything in our database, and that is really awesome. So now we need to test out the sign in. So I'm going to click here, sign in, and we're probably going to get 200, yes, but how can we know if we are actually now signed in? So that needs to reflect on our application. We need to check the session on our page here. So I'm opening the page, I can close all other files, and here we need to know if our user is authenticated or not. So here I'm going to create a session, and that one is coming from our auth. So we need to await that one. We need to turn this component to an async component, and that's good. This is a server component, so we can do that. And now here we can call auth from libauth API and then get session. This one here, it should be session, not sessions, and we are going to send here our headers, and that one we are going to import from next headers. So we also need to await that one here, and now we are getting everything that we need so we can check if our user is authenticated or not. And here we can just put in some paragraph, and here we can say if not session, in that case put in not authenticated, and if there is a session, then we are going to put in the user.name, for example. So now if we get back to our application, we can see that we are not authenticated. And if we now click sign in, it's not going to work. So here we have the 200 post, that's good, but we are still not getting authenticated. And the reason for that is that we are using here inside of our server action, we are calling from here sign in and sign up. And in Next.js, by default, cookies are not used from here. So what we need to do inside of our auth, here we need to put in plugins, and then inside we need our next cookies like this. And now it's going to use as a plugin here next cookies, and everything is going to work. So here in our browser, I'm again refreshing everything, clearing the network tab. I'm clicking the sign in, and here now we can see my name from the database, which is OrcDev. That means that our authentication is working and that we can already determine what are we going to see based on the fact that we are authenticated or not. And now what we need to do is to somehow forbid other users of coming to some pages. So to do that, we are going to Better Auth Next.js, and there we are just going to take the middleware file, so this one, and we are going to create middleware.ts inside of our root directory. So I'm creating middleware.ts, and there I'm copy pasting that entire file. So here what are we doing? Basically we are specifying the roots that this middleware applies to. So in our case here, that is the dashboard. I'm going to quickly create the dashboard page, not like this, but the directory dashboard, and inside I'm creating page.tsx, exporting default function dashboard. We are just going to put in the div dashboard. So here inside of our app, I'm going to the dashboard like this, and here we can see that we are on our dashboard page. But are we going to see it in case if we are logged out? To test that, we need to create a sign out button quickly. So here in our app directory, I'm going to create a signout.tsx, and I'm going to use the RFC again and import auth from our auth client like this, and that one should be auth client, this one, and it's just going to be another button where we are going to call on click sign out like this. That's it. And that one should be a client component, because in this case we are using the auth client. And now we are going to put it on our page here above the session thingy. So we are calling here the sign out like this. Nice. So now we can go back to our main landing page. Now here when we press sign out, we should be signed out. Yes, here, so we can see not authenticated. And if we try to go again on the dashboard, we are just getting back to our main page. So it's not allowing us to go there, but if we sign in again and clicking, is it working? Yes. And now if we go again to the dashboard, there it is. We can now access the dashboard and our authentication is fully working. I hope you enjoyed in this video, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate, write in the comments, or you can join the Discord channel. You have the invitation in the description below. And for more content like this, join the Horde, subscribe.